Well, hello there, my friends. Pastor Darryl here, coming to you from Park Church, this open and affirming congregation in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. And it is another installment of Ask the Pastor, where you send in your questions and I do my very best to answer them as best as I can. And I want to thank you for sending in your questions. We have some really great questions that we're going to be looking at over the next few weeks. And if you have a question that you would have about the Bible, about faith, about Christianity, about things going on in the world, or if they're not too invasive, a personal question that you would like to ask, please send it into the church at office@parkchurchgr.org. We'll add it to our basket of questions, and we'll look forward to answering them, like I said, in the weeks to come. But let's go ahead and jump into this week's Ask the Pastor together, and let's draw a question, shall we? And our question this week is, in the third verse of the hymn, "A Mighty Fortress is Our God," we sing, "The Prince of Darkness grim, we tremble not for him. His rage we can endure, for lo, his doom is sure. One word shall fell him." Do you have any clue what that one little word is? I've always been curious. That's a really great question. I kind of feel like this is like one of those really deep cut questions, kind of like when Bill Shatner goes to like a Star Trek convention and people are asking him, remember in episode 45 of season 1, and they're asking him one of those questions. I'm glad you think I know the hymn, "A Mighty Fortress is Our God." I do. It's one of my favorite. And I know what verse you're talking about. And it's one of those questions I've had on my heart before as well. Before I answer the question, I just want to say the hymn, "A Mighty Fortress is Our God," was written by Martin Luther in the early 16th century. And it's based on Psalm 46, which was incredibly influential to the great reformer Martin Luther's life and theology. In my own personal life, "A Mighty Fortress is Our God" took on a whole new meaning for me as I was at seminary at Bright Divinity School when the terror attacks of September 11th occurred. And we gathered as a community of faith on the campus of Bright Divinity School to offer our prayers and to turn to God for wisdom and hope. And the opening hymn of that worship service that we had on the first Thursday after the September 11th terrorist attack, the opening hymn that day was "A Mighty Fortress is Our God." And as we witnessed the World Trade Center towers fall, those mighty fortresses fall, we were leaning into the mighty fortress and standing on the mighty fortress of God that day. And that hymn really lifted us as a community. And I know that hymn means a lot to you, and it has meant a lot to me ever since that day. But to your question about what one little word will fell the Prince of Darkness. Well, unluckily, Martin Luther never said what the little word was. As far as I know, there's no letter, there's no writing, there's no treatise that he says distinctly what that one little word is. But I think looking at Luther's theology, and particularly his reliance on Paul's letter to the Romans and his firm belief in justification by faith, I think we can glean what little word was on Luther's mind and in his heart when he penned this beautiful and powerful hymn. And I think, my friends, that the one little word that can fell darkness, according to Luther, is the word grace. Grace, that little itty-bitty word that changed the world, really, by saying that God offers us forgiveness, offers us compassion, offers us redemption and reconciliation based on God's eternal, steadfast love that is slow to anger and is everlasting in its form. I think that grace is the little word that can help us overcome the personification of evil in our lives and in our world and in our hearts. Grace, it's a one little word that really redefined a faith tradition for us. And I think it is the most unique aspect of the Christian faith. So many of the world religions talk about love and justice and peace, and I am proud that Christianity stands shoulder to shoulder and hand in hand and works for those things in our world. But if you were going to ask me what is the one defining characteristic of our faith, I would say it's grace. And I lean into the wise words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who says, darkness cannot drive out darkness, hatred cannot drive out hatred, evil cannot drive out evil. But indeed, it is love that can drive all of those things away and help us to overcome them. And with that love, we are able to be gracious to one another, even when evil, hatred, and violence make their way into our world and into our lives. If we respond with courageous, steadfast love and grace, I do believe evil can be overcome. I do believe that evil can fall, and love and compassion and mercy can stand. So, thank you so much for your question. Please continue to send them in. I look forward to answering them in the weeks to come. But until we see each other again, may God bless you, may God keep you, and Godspeed, everyone. Bye-bye.